esteemed Dean, Dr. Sreedharan, esteemed Deputy Dean, Dr. Mahadevan, Dr. Nagarajan, Dr. Mini, respected members of the faculty, visiting professors, and dear students. I am extremely happy to be with you this morning. And I've been wanting to come over here for a very long time. Somehow did not take place earlier. Now I must thank Dr. Sreedharan for taking me over to this place. I had a wonderful time this morning going round the campus, which is highly impressive, and it is really rewarding. To be frank with you, I have not come here with any prepared speech. I thought it would be better if I share with you my experience and learnings in handling two of the most important infrastructure projects this country has seen after independence. These two projects are the Konkan Railway and the Delhi Metro. Why I selected these two projects for speaking, for discussing with you is there are very many lessons for the whole country to learn from the implementation of these two projects. Konkan Railway, as you may be aware, is a 760-kilometer long broad gauge railway line from Mumbai to Mangalore along the west coast of the country called the Konkan Coast. That is why it's called the Konkan Railway. This line passes through one of the most difficult terrains ever encountered in the history of railway construction in our country. This will be evident to you when I mention for constructing this 760-kilometer long railway line, as many as 93 tunnels for an aggregate length of 83.5 kilometers had to be bored through one of the most difficult and adverse soil conditions in the country, the Western Ghats. The longest tunnel on this is about 6.5 kilometers, and there are 9 tunnels more than 3 kilometers. The soil conditions are so adverse, they are typical lateritic formations, which are very hard on the surface. But as you go down, it becomes very loose and almost like toothpaste when you bore through. Such soil conditions were to construct these tunnels. Then there were 158 major bridges to be completed. In railway parlance, a major bridge means which has got more than 20 meters in length. That's a major bridge. The longest bridge on this line is about 2 kilometers long across Sharavdi River near Karwar. And the highest viaduct, because the terrain is so undulating, many of the ravines could be crossed only by high viaducts. The highest viaduct was near Ratnagiri, is near Ratnagiri, and the piers of this viaduct is as tall as Coimbatore, about 68 meters, more than 68 meters high. Coimbatore is 71 meters, this is 68 meters high. And then there are about more than 1,600 minor bridges. Some of the embankments were as high as 25 meters. In fact, there is one stretch of an embankment which is about 3 kilometers long and about 25 meters high. You can imagine the difficult terrain. And the cuttings were also very, very deep, 35 meters deep cuttings. The reason why, in spite of this difficult terrain, we decided to go for a railway line which will have a speed potential of 160 kilometers per hour. In fact, Konkan Railway is the only line in this country which can run trains at 160 kilometers per hour. As you are aware, all our trains, the maximum speed is only 110 kilometers, except for Rajdhani Express or Shatabdi Express, which operate at 120 kilometers or 130 kilometers respectively. But that's not due to the railway line, that is because of the special capability of the trains. Konkan Railway can operate trains at 160 kilometers because the curves are very, very flat. A curve sharper than 1,000 meters means all curves have to be more than 1,000 meters if you have to run trains at 160 kilometers. And Konkan Railway has been constructed with that. That is why you find very high embankments, very deep cuttings. Apart from the technical challenges in building this line, the most difficult challenge was raising the money for the project. In our country, generally all railway lines are constructed with funds provided by the Government of India through successive railway budgets. And Konkan Railway was such a long line, costing very heavy investments, needing very big investments. If it is to be constructed in the normal fashion, railway will not be able to provide the funds required for it even in 25 years. Therefore, a very innovative funding system was planned for this project, and that was the government would give only 1/3 of the cost of the project, and 2/3 of the cost of the project had been borrowed from the market, for which purpose the Konkan Railway Corporation was formed. It's a public sector undertaking at the Ministry of Railways, and I had the privilege of being the first chairman and managing director. In fact, I registered the company to start with. The ownership of this company is very unique. The railways held only 51% of the share of this company, and the remaining 49% shares are held by the 5 state governments along the route: Maharashtra, Goa, Karnataka, 4 state governments, and Kerala. Even though not even an inch of this railway line is in Kerala, Kerala government came forward to be a shareholder in this company because Kerala realized that if this line is constructed, the biggest beneficiary will be Kerala. That is why the Kerala government became part of this company. Initially, we were very enthusiastic. We thought we could raise the funds from the market easily. But unfortunately, that was a time when there was a complete upheaval in the capital market in the country, following the Harshad Mehta scam. I don't know whether many of you may not remember it. The capital market simply went dry, and it was very difficult for us to raise money from the market. In spite of all these technical challenges and the financial problems that we faced, we were able to complete this 760 kilometer long railway line in exactly 7 years. I don't think this country has seen a railway line be constructed in such a short time, in such difficult terrain conditions. The other project is the Delhi Metro. For your information, Delhi Metro is not the first metro in the country. That distinction goes to Calcutta, where a 17 kilometers long metro line was commenced in early 1970s, but got completed only in 1994. I had the opportunity to be part of the Calcutta Metro as well in the early stages of its investigation and design, but I was not involved in the implementation of the project. That project was planned and executed by Indian Railways as a departmental project. The Calcutta Metro was not a very pleasant experience, either for the city of Calcutta or for the country as a whole, because the 17 kilometers of metro line took 22 years for completion, and the cost went up by 14 times. But still, when the construction was going on, the Calcutta city had to undergo many inconveniences and dislocations. The main central avenue was just cut open and kept like that for cut and cover construction for years and years. You can imagine the inconvenience and dislocation that would have caused the city as a whole. In fact, seeing the experience of Calcutta Metro, many other metropolitan organizations set up for constructing similar metros in Delhi, Mumbai, and Chennai. They all backed out, saying that we don't want to start a metro construction in this country anymore. That was the experience of Calcutta Metro. With this background only, the Delhi Metro was planned. Seeing the experience of Calcutta Metro, which was done by the Indian Railways as a departmental work, it was decided that Delhi Metro would be implemented in a entirely different style by a government company for which Delhi Metro Rail Corporation was formed, with 50% participation by Government of India and 50% participation by Government of Delhi. I also had the privilege of registering this company and forming the Delhi Metro Corporation. The first phase of Delhi Metro, which covered about 65 kilometers in length, with about 16 kilometers underground and remaining as elevated, was handed over to DMRC, Delhi Metro Rail Corporation, with the mandate that the first phase should be completed in 10 years' time, as envisaged in the detailed project report prepared for that project. I had the unique opportunity to be the first managing director of Delhi Metro Rail Corporation. When I took over Delhi Metro, I was still having the responsibilities of Congan Railway that was completed. But I was forced to take over Delhi Metro even before completing the Congan Railway. There were about 3 to 4 months I was in charge of both these major projects. The first thing we realized was Delhi being the capital city of the country and exploding with population. The city cannot wait for 10 years to get the first metro. That is the first thing we realized. And we decided that we would compress the implementation period from 10 years to 7 years. Ladies and gentlemen, it was possible for us to complete the first phase of Delhi Metro in exactly 7 years and 3 months, which is 2 years and 9 months ahead of schedule set by the government. What is more important, the first phase of the project was completed exactly within the estimated cost of 10,000 crores. See the success of implementing the Delhi Metro first phase. The government immediately sanctioned the second phase of Delhi Metro, which covered 124 kilometers at a cost of 24,000 crores, and to be completed in 6 years' time. They set a target of 6 years for completing the second phase of the Delhi Metro. By the time the country had the opportunity to stage the Commonwealth Games, and the government was very particular that the second phase of Delhi Metro should be completed before the Commonwealth Games are staged in Delhi, which gave us exactly 4 years and 6 months for completing the second phase of Delhi Metro. Ladies and gentlemen, I am very proud to inform you that we were able to complete 124 kilometers of metro line, costing 24,000 crores in exactly 4 years and 6 months. As a matter of fact, the last line, line number 6 of Delhi Metro, was commissioned on the very morning when the Commonwealth Games were staged. So precisely we were able to complete it exactly on time. Of course, seeing the success of Delhi Metro Phase 2, the Phase 3 has been sanctioned, and that is now nearing completion. It's going on well. Now, why I mentioned these two projects, and why I describe this in great detail, is to tell you that both the projects were done by government organizations, government companies. And necessarily, being government companies, we have to follow the governmental rules, governmental procedures, and governmental guidelines. How is that? Following all these things, these projects could be completed well in time or before time, and always within the estimated cost. This is a lesson that the country has to take from these two projects, which is the one that I want to discuss with you. What is the lesson that we can learn from these two projects? Ladies and gentlemen, this was possible only because of the unique work culture of these two organizations. The Konkan Railway Corporation Limited and the Delhi Metro Rail Corporation. These two organizations, the unique work culture of these two organizations. And the cardinal pillars of this work culture are basically only 4. I would like the students to note down these principles because this will be the inspiration or guidance for you in your later professional career. These are 1, punctuality, 2, integrity, 3, professional competence, and 4, social accountability. These are the 4 pillars of this work culture. I would like to dwell on these aspects of the work culture a little more detail for the sake of the young students present here. First of all, punctuality. What is punctuality? Punctuality is nothing but a courtesy that you show to others. It is nothing but this respect and regard that you have for the time of others. And for us, punctuality meant not a minute early, not a minute late. I was so happy and impressed to see Dr. Sreedharan organizing this function exactly at 9:00. Ladies and gentlemen, punctuality is required not only in our day-to-day life, the way we conduct our professional activities, but it's also required for completing the project on time. In major projects of this type, time is money. Even 1 day late means it costs quite a lot to the nation. For example, we realized that phase 1 of Delhi Metro, if it is delayed by 1 day, that would need Delhi Metro Rail Corporation to mobilize another 1.3 crores extra to complete the project on time. And for phase 2, which costs 24,000 crores, 1 day delay means another 4.5 crores for DMRC. It is so important, the time is so important. That is why I said time is money in projects of this type. Apart from that, unless you have this philosophy of keeping to time, you will not be able to complete the project on time. In all these projects, I used to keep what is known as a reverse clock in the offices at important work sites. These clocks will show how many days are left for completing that particular work or to complete that particular phase of the work. And each day, automatically, the clock will show 1 day less. So this clock used to be a constant reminder to all the engineers, to the contractors, to the suppliers, that only so many days are left for finishing that part of the project, whether it's a tunnel, whether it's a major bridge, or whether it's a section to be commissioned. This kept us all the time on our toes. Punctuality is also required from some other reason as well. Both these projects are meant for running trains, Common Railway as well as Delhi Metro. And we realized that if we want our trains to run punctually, we must be punctual ourselves. Now we thought this is very essential. Unless we are punctual, how do we expect our trains to be punctual? And see the fallout of this philosophy. Take the example of Delhi Metro. Delhi Metro today runs 3,300 trains a day. World over, the punctuality of metro trains is reckoned with a least count of 3 minutes. World over, whether it is Japan, Washington, or London, if train is within 3 minutes arrival time, it is treated as punctuality. But Delhi Metro, we decided that we would tighten our belts, and the least count from punctuality will be 60 seconds, 1 minute. If the train is later than 60 seconds, that has lost punctuality. Ladies and gentlemen, do you know the punctuality performance of Delhi Metro trains? I was there about 4 days back in Delhi, and I made inquiries to Delhi Metro, what is the punctuality performance? They told me it is 99.97%. And I think the importance of punctuality in an engineer's profession. You have to be very punctual all the time. And my dear young friends, I learned this punctuality habit only from my engineering college. I had a professor called Professor Sreedharan. He was not a doctor, he was Professor Sreedharan. was a stickler for punctuality. He used to come to the classes for lectures, but he'd be standing outside the veranda till 9:15. If the classes started 9:15, he'd be just standing outside. Exactly 9:15, he will enter the class. And 10 o'clock when the class is over, he will close down. Exactly on time. He always used to insist that punctuality means not 1 minute early or 1 minute late. Not only in official daily or official functions or official classes, even private social functions, he used to carry this punctuality very strictly. And that's a habit both in Coimbatore Railway as well as Delhi Metro. Even a social gathering, this punctuality used to be observed very, very strictly. And by being punctual, you save so much of time for everyone. Supposing now this function, I had come 5 minutes late. And you are saying about 1,000 students here. How many man hours would have lost just by being 5 minutes late? For an engineer, this should be a gospel, a Bible, being very, very punctual. The second item I mentioned was integrity. What is integrity? Integrity is not just honesty or absence of corruption. It is something more than that. If you take the Oxford Dictionary and see the meaning of integrity, it will say having good moral values. This is integrity. Ladies and gentlemen, government projects of this type running with several crores. If persons in charge of the projects are not having high integrity, you can imagine what will happen. In the Coimbatore Railway, as well as in Delhi Metro, we were very, very particular about the integrity of every individual who joins this organization. I used to personally screen the officers and the staff who entered the organization. We had a very, very lean organization, not a huge organization that you find generally with construction corporations. Very lean organization. But one thing we are very particular is about integrity of the person. And if we suspected the integrity of any particular individual, he was out of the organization the next day. We never booked, we never condoned any sort of illegal transactions or illegal gains being obtained by anyone. We never allowed that. These two organizations had such a high reputation for integrity all the time. Even today, they have this high reputation. For the Commonwealth Games staged in Delhi, October 2010, there were very many players contributing to the Commonwealth Games infrastructure. And DMRC was only one of them, of course the biggest player. But all the organizations involved in the Commonwealth Games, there were very many allegations. Even the top man, Mr. Kalmani, he had to be even arrested. He was put behind bars. Everybody had a lot of allegations. And DMRC was the biggest player with 24,000 crores of project in hand. There was not even one single allegation against DMRC. This is the credit that you get to having that reputation for integrity. My young friends, integrity should be the passport in your pocket wherever you go. Your reputation for integrity should go ahead of you wherever you work. If you have a good reputation for integrity, even if you make a mistake, that will not be treated as a mistake. That will be pardoned. There will be no investigations. This reputation for integrity is very, very important for any individual. Mind you, both these projects Konkan Railway as well as Delhi Metro. They were handed over to me after my retirement from Indian Railways in 1990. The government had no hold on me except my pension. Why did the government entrust Mr. Sreedharan with huge projects of this type involving such thousands of crores? Only because the reputation I had for integrity. This is very important for any engineer, whether you are a civil engineer, whether you are an electronics engineer, electrical engineer, for any engineering profession. This integrity is very, very important. Integrity should be the crown stone in the arch of your character. It is so important. If you are very honest, you have the courage to take decisions, you have the courage to face politicians, you have the courage to stand up to anyone. If you are not honest, you will not have any of these qualities. And that is one of the hallmarks of my career, this integrity is so important. The third aspect of the work culture I mentioned to you was about professional competence or technical competence. You can understand these two projects I mentioned, Konkan Railway, how technically complex it was. Delhi Metro was an entirely different type of complexity. This country had not done, had not executed, had not even planned a world-class metro so far. Calcutta Metro was very mediocre metro, very behind in technology. Even today, Calcutta Metro technology is at least 20 years behind. Calcutta Metro, even today, the maximum speed is only 60 kilometers. It has none of the requirements of a modern metro. If you want to handle this project, you must know how to handle it. It's not that you should know everything about the project. If you don't know, you can hire people to execute the project. When we started Delhi Metro, of course, only I had known this problem because all the people I had brought from Indian Railways, they were all very competent, and we did not look at foreign technology at all in Konkan railway construction. Whereas Delhi Metro, this country had not done a world-class metro at all. There is no precedence, there is no example. Therefore, we had to hire foreign experts, foreign consultants to assist us in planning and implementing the first phase of the metro. But we did it only in the first phase. By the time the first phase was completed, we have mastered the tricks of the trade. Thereafter, phase 2, phase 3, we were able to do ourselves. Why? Only Delhi. All the metros now going on in the country. There are 13 cities having metro construction now going on. And all these metros, initial investigations and studies, preparation of the detailed project report, funding, deciding on the funding pattern, obtaining government's clearance, all this was done by Delhi Metro because we had mastered the technology, we had mastered the expertise for planning and implementing metro projects. We were able to bring in a virtual metro revolution in the country. This is what I call technical competence. You must learn. If you know your job well, again that gives you so much of confidence, so much of self-assurance. If you really don't know yourself, you can hire people to start with to help you. But you should know the job very well. Ladies and gentlemen, our Shastras say, Jnanameva Paramam Balam. If you know that gives you a lot of strength. It also says, Jnanena Sadrasham Pavitram Vihana Vidyate. There is nothing so divine as knowledge in this world. Knowledge is so important. Knowledge gives you, as I told you, a lot of self-confidence. And if you know your job well, people will not interfere in your way of working. I had to work with government really with 4 state governments and the government of India. In Delhi, I had to work with Delhi government as well as government of India and all the politicians of any eminence. They're all available in Delhi to interfere in your work. But because they knew that the organization which was handling this work was very competent, they never ventured, dared to interfere in our work at all. This is the importance of doing your job very well. I remember an incident in Delhi in the early stages where, according to the detailed project report, the alignment was to a particular area. We found that taking the alignment along that area, far too many houses had to be demolished and a lot of lands at very exorbitant cost had to be hired. So I debated that alignment a little bit, took it generally through railway land, avoiding a lot of land acquisitions and demolitions. The public were against it. They said, no, you cannot shift the alignment. It should be as per the original alignment itself, because they are expecting a lot of compensation if the alignment is taken along that way. And Srimati Sheila Dixit was the chief minister. She held a meeting. She called me also for the meeting. I still remember the words she uttered to the public. She told them that as far as the alignment is concerned, I have full confidence in the competence of my engineers who will decide it correctly. I'm not going to change it. The public all came thinking that being a politician, she would change the alignment. She said no. But I do understand you have certain problems because the alignment is changed. And that problem I will tackle, but I will not insist on the alignment to be changed. You see, that confidence in your work, you are able to demonstrate only by your technical competence. This is so important. Know your work very well. I need not go very much in detail about the need for knowing your work very well. In this context, I want to tell the students here, you are very lucky to have your education, technical education, in an institution of this type, excellent institution. But please remember, this institution will give you only the basic foundation of the technical knowledge and experience that you want. Later on, you have to build up on this foundation through experience, observation. Please remember, for an engineer, education is a lifelong pursuit. I want to repeat it. Education is a lifelong pursuit. Throughout your career, you have to go on learning, observing things. Any opportunity that you get, observe things, find out how it is to be done. Even if you happen to go to a railway platform, see a foot-over bridge, immediately start thinking, what is the theory behind this foot-over bridge design? How has it been designed? This inquisitiveness all the time. And the spirit of innovation in improving matters. These are very important for any engineer. Please remember this. Not only that, you see, knowledge gives you also humility. Vidya dadadi vinaya. I am up and down, I was quoting in Sanskrit. You should excuse me. Vidya dadadi vinaya. If you know the knowledge, that gives you humility. That gives you confidence. It is a pot full of water. It will not spill if it is full. If it's only half, normally it makes a lot of noise. This is essential for any engineer. And the fourth thing which I mentioned was social responsibility or social accountability. As I mentioned, we are all very fortunate to have the formal technical education in an institution of this type. This is not merely to give you a career, not merely to give you a job to get a salary. This is to train you to have an opportunity to serve the country. You have responsibility for the country, for the fellow man, for the society. And this is that opportunity is given to you today. This is a social responsibility that you should shoulder from the portals of this institution, wherever you go, that you have to serve your country, you have to serve your fellow man in the society. In these projects, what we realized was the first social responsibility for us was to complete the projects on time, complete the projects within the estimated cost. That is our first social responsibility, which we knew, which we understood, and which we implemented. Then another thing is, when you execute projects of this type, you cause minimum dislocation, minimum inconvenience to the public at large, to the people. I mentioned to you about Calcutta Metro. What a chaos is created when the Calcutta Metro was being implemented. But when Delhi Metro was being implemented, people never knew that a tunnel was being bored through under their offices or under the residences. So quietly we were doing it. We were using special high-tech tunnel boring machines for that purpose. And whenever we took up a road for construction of an elevated section, we ensured that the traffic is properly looked after. We installed additional signals, we diverted the traffic necessary, and we put our own men to control the traffic. We did not depend on the traffic police. In fact, Delhi public used to say that though so many streets were being taken up for construction, they said the traffic was moving much better when the Delhi Metro construction was going on rather than earlier. That is how we did it. This is a social responsibility. The other social responsibility was greenery, cutting trees. Projects of this type, we have to cut many trees. It's unavoidable. But we decided on our own, and mind you, there were no instructions, there were no guidance, there is no stipulation by the government. We decided that for every tree that we cut, we plant 10 trees as compensatory afforestation. This is the social responsibility. Then the works were being done. We ensured that we don't create too much of vibration, too much of noise. We selected machinery of that type so that people can sleep quietly during the nights. There's no problem. You should see that the public are not put in inconvenience. Even when you are digging up roads and all that, you put proper barricades to screen the work sites from the public view. We kept the road screened all the time. And for that purpose, you'll be surprised to know, from every work site, before the vehicles come out, the tires used to be cleaned with water so that the slush and mud from the work site is not spilled on the road surface. Even after that, every night we need to treat the roads well or clean the roads with water to see that they are kept very clean and tidy. This is a responsibility. Whenever you execute a project, see that the project does not cause any problem. When Coimbatore was being constructed, we had to acquire land from 44,000 people. Can you imagine? 760 kilometer long line. About 44,000 people we had to acquire the land or their houses or the place of business. Every individual we met personally, explained to him the importance of this project and how even one day's delay on this project is going to cost the whole nation so much of extra money. We used to explain to them and canvass the support and sympathy for the project. With the result, you'll be surprised to know 95% of the land we could take over within 12 months of starting the work. And for that, we ensured that the people were not put to difficulties. If somebody's house was to be demolished, we used to tell him, shift his family to another house. We used to pay the rent for that house till he was able to find his own accommodation. We used to dismantle his house and allow him to take away all retrievable items like doors, windows, tiles, transport it at our cost to this new location to help him to build his new house. And maybe we did not go about usual rules and regulations of the Land Acquisition Act. We had a very proactive attitude to see that people are helped when the work was going on. This is social responsibility. Ladies and gentlemen, an engineer should realize that he is not for himself. He is not for the society, for the whole nation. And he should not go by what remuneration he gets. That is very, it's a secondary thing. The important thing is what opportunity he gets to do service to society or to the nation. This is your outlook. This should be your motive all the time, all the time. Why is that? Even at this last stage of my life, I am nearing 86 this June. Why am I still working? Is it for salary? Is it for reward, recognition, or reputation? Certainly not. This only, I feel, gives me an opportunity to do something for the country all the time. Little later, I will explain to you what are the other side activities that you have. Serving the society, serving the nation. This should be your attitude all the time. Don't bother about what salary. See, do the placements are only bothered about what salary, who is taking you and all that. That is, according to me, is not at all important. Your lookout should be, am I getting a good opportunity to do something good for my country, for my society, to the humanity? That should be your outlook, not your pay packet, compensation that you will get. That is subsidiary. That money will be simply lying in the bank account. You may not even use it. You may leave this world leaving the money behind. That is not important. You have to change your outlook in regard to remuneration and the profits of your service. For the young students present here, there are two other things which I want to make very important. You should understand that an engineering profession is a very demanding profession, particularly in regard to health. It is so essential to have excellent, robust health for any engineer. If you want to perform well, if you want to do your duty, perform your duties properly, if you don't want to be a source of concern to your parents or to your spouses, you must have good health. You must build up good health all the time. It is so easy to have good health, provided you have a disciplined life, the Bhagavad Gita says, for good health, yukta ahara viharasya, yukta chetasva karmani, yukta swapna abhotasya, yukta swapna abhotasya, yogo bhavati dukkha. Is moderation in everything, whether in your food habits, whether in your recreational facilities, whether even spending your time for your work, you must be moderate all the time. Even in your sleep, even your dreams, everything moderation is required. Then yogo bhavati dukkha. Then you get what is known as dukkha, means you won't have any sort of a grief. And you have yoga. Yoga means what? Bhagavad Gita says, samatvam yoga uchyate. It is equalness in everything. That is yoga. I am putting Bhagavad Gita because I am an ardent devotee of the Bhagavad. Ladies and gentlemen, Bhagavad Gita is not a religious text, as usually understood by people. They think it's a text only for Hindus. It is not. Bhagavad Gita is nothing but a conversation that had taken place on the battlefield of Kurukshetra by Lord Krishna and King Arjuna. It is from one administrator to another administrator. How to perform his duties properly. What are his duties? So Bhagavad Gita is not a religious text. It is, I would say, a management manual, a management gospel. It is Bhagavad Gita. This conversation in Kurukshetra took place 5,155 years back. You may wonder how I arrived at this 5,155 years. I not invented that. This was found out by the 5th century mathematician of this country, Aryabhatta. You must have heard about Aryabhatta, who invented the concept of pi. Pi means the ratio between the circumference and the diameter of a circle. He gifted this concept to the whole world in 5th century. Pi. He calculated and found out that Bhagavad Gita took this war, Mahabharata war, took place in 3127 BC. He arrived at that. From that only I have read Bhagavad Gita took place 5,155 years back. Even after nearly 5,100 years, the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita is so important, so helpful, and so supporting whenever you are in trouble. Mahatma Gandhi used to say, whenever Mahatma Gandhi had to face many problems, social problems, political problems, so much of adversity, he used to say that whenever he had difficulties with these things going wrong or not going the way he wanted, he used to always come back and open Bhagavad Gita, and he could always find one verse which would give him the required confidence and strength to move forward. This is what Bhagavad Gita does. So I will be very often quoting to you from Bhagavad Gita, because I think for any engineer, Bhagavad Gita is really a gospel. How to do your duty properly, what is that you should expect from the duty, and what are the ways you should do it. These are all very important. In this context, at least 2 points in Bhagavad Gita I want to tell, so particular, so important, and so relevant to an engineer. What is a swatik, a righteous duty, and who is a righteous performer? Bhagavad Gita gives it so precisely and so well. He says, Niyadam Sangarahidam Araga Dveshata Kritam Abhala Prepsuna Karma Yet Tat Swatikam Uchade. When you say Satvigam, I hope you understand. It is rectitude, righteousness. What is a righteous way of doing a duty? It says, Niyadam Sangarahidam. Niyadam means what is ordained. What is your, whatever duty is assigned to you. You should do it without any attachment. Then Araga Dveshata, without any like or dislike. You may not like the job, but don't go on cursing your boss for it. Or you know a particular part of the work and do only that part of the work and not the rest of it. This is Araga Dveshata. Abhala Prepsuna Karma, that is most important. You perform your duty without expecting any recognition, any reward. And that duty is called sattvic duty. That is the righteous way of doing things. And who is a righteous performer? That also Bhagavad Gita says. Mukta sango anahambadi nityutsaha samanvidaha. Mukta sango anahambadi nityutsaha samanvidaha. Siddhya siddhyo nirvikaraha karta swatika muchade. More or less same thing. He said mukta sango, without any attachment to the duty that you are performing. Anahambadi. Don't take in pride that I am capable of it, I am doing that. Don't have that pride, that ego all the time with you. Nityutsaha samanvidaha. Perform it with dexterity, discipline. That is important. With diligence, dexterity and diligence, perform your duty. Then siddhi siddhyor nirvikaraha. You should not be bothered about whether it gets good results or bad results. Good results. But if you don't get it, you are not going to go and find yourself. You should try to rectify it, to do something to make it good. Such a performer is sattvic performance. In engineer's life, the sattva is so important. Rectitude, righteousness is so important. Sattva. And how do you get sattva? From the institution of this time? Yes, this institution gives. It's a very unique institution. Because of the Amma's culture, the organization's culture, you have certain good values instilled in you. For that, Srimad Bhagavatam says, Sattvani eva sevete Puman sattva vivardhane Tado dharma tado jnanam Nyavasprati apohanam. In short, it means, if you want to have sattva, righteous character, we should always think of righteous things. Always think of good things. And then you will get dharma and you will get jnana. This is important. For an engineer, these things are, pursuing these values are so important. Ladies and gentlemen, many of you may not know that I wear two hats. One, the hat of a metro man, helping many metros in the country. Most of the metros now going on are all planned and evaluated and getting implemented under my guidance. Most of the metros in the country today, metro man. I have another hat. That is the president of a non-government organization, NGO, called Foundation for Restoration of National Values. That's all I Today this country, after 70 years of independence, what are we? As a nation, we should be ashamed, I would say. Often I wonder whether we have become a failed nation at all. 70 years of independence, still 40% of our population live below poverty line. A large section of people still don't have the basic necessities of life, clean drinking water, good cleanliness in their homes and their surroundings, cleanliness, housing, proper education, and most important, health cover. We don't have still. Why? You take many other nations in the world who have become independent much later than us, who have got independence. They are all now very developed nations, thriving so well. Take a country like Germany, Japan. They were completely blown to the dust due to the World War II, 45. We got our independence 47. Within 30 years, they bounced back and they became leading countries of the whole world. Singapore got its independence only in 1967, much like 20 years after us. See how the country is today. South Korea, again, it got independence from the Japanese and Chinese occupation only 1968, I think. It has become the sixth economic power in the country, in the world today. Why is it our country alone is in this fashion? All because we have lost the values, the culture, the ethos, the principles which this country was very proud of about 300 years back. We have a very hoary heritage. See, heritage like Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Mahabharatam, what sort of things we have. But on the way we have lost all the values. Today what you see around, these institutions may be an exception, but I see other education institutions, Kerala, one should be ashamed of it, what is happening. I studied Government Literary College, Palka. Do you know about 5 years back, when the principal of the college was retiring, on that day, the students educated and done this attitude. In this way, you respect your teachers. Why have we lost our values? Maharaja's College is another very eminent institution in Kerala. On a day when the principal, and that too a lady principal, was away from the college, her chair was taken out and burned by the students. The students have no respect for the teachers. The teachers have no concern for the students. The parents have no time for the students. And the political elements are ruling the roost in the education institutions Kerala today. If you see the standard of engineering education in the country today, all of us engineers will really feel ashamed. In 2016, a survey was done about the quality of engineering education in the country. I'm not mentioning about institutions like IITs, NITs, this one, or BITS, Berlin Institute of Technology, etc. Generally, 6,500 colleges were surveyed. About 3 lakh students were interviewed, and they come to the conclusion that engineering students coming out of these colleges, only 20% are readily employable. 20% only readily employable. Another 20% can be made employable by further skilling or further education, and the rest are just not employable. See the standard of education in the country. India does not have even one university to rank among the 100 leading universities of the world. We don't have even one university to rank in that. Now only IIC is just inching into this list. Why our education has gone to this standard? We have lost our values. So this FRNV, Foundation for Restoration of National Values, we are trying to revive these values, bring back the old values of the country. At least instill respect for the country, instill respect for our constitution, instill respect for our national flag. Be proud of an Indian. That is necessary. So I am these days very much involved in this FRMA activities as well. And of course, our main aim is to instill the values in the children, in the education institutions. Value education in all schools, education institutions. I find this value education is required even in high technical institutions like this. The engineer should know what values they have to practice when they go out. The subjects alone is not enough. Unless you know you have the language, the knowledge, and you practice the knowledge with certain values and principles, it has no meaning. This has got to be done. Dear students, you should understand the crown and glory of life is character. You must have good character. There are certain things in life on which you have no control. Like you can't choose your complexion. You can't remold your facial features. You can't increase your height. There are certain things you can't do anything. But there are certain things you can definitely mold. Yeah, your health, you can have your own command, you can control the way you have your health, and you can also mold your character. Fortunately, you are in institution of this type, which gives high stress importance to good character, good behavior. See that you imbibe these good values from this institution, and when you go out and you become successful career, please don't forget this institution, your alma mater. Whatever you are able to contribute to an institution like this, by service, financially, whatever it is, please do so. Don't forget your alma mater. Finally, as I said, I want to again lay stress on your character, on your conduct. You must have the character excellence, I would say. The behavior majesty, the way you behave. People should know, yes, they are on this Vidyapitham. They should understand this. The behavior majesty and the intellectual elegance. When you deal with people, that elegance should come out. Dear students, you have got an excellent opportunity to imbibe all these values. And please don't waste your time. Thank you very much.
Speech, we really go down to you. Now we have time for maybe 10 minutes question answer session. How many are ready with the questions? Please raise your hands. So maybe Bharat is here. So maybe first we'll start from there. Please introduce yourself with your name and department, and please keep the question very brief, 1 or 2 sentences, please.
Good morning, sir. My name is Govind from Mechanical Engineering. I would like to ask, there is a circulation in the media. French team backed out to construct Konkan Railway, whether it's true or not, but what made us to construct successfully? Why French team backed out?
Actually, I can't say that French team backed out. We were under British rule at that time. You can say the Britishers were not confident to take up this work. That's why this big gap between Mangalore and Bombay was there for a very, very long time. Because of the complexity of the terrain, difficulties in the terrain, and the finance. I explained to you the complexities and how the finance was ultimately mobilized to do the work.
Namaskar sir, this is Praharsha from Civil Department. I would like to ask one question. Like, what was your first project and how did you handle it? First project in your career.
Oh, when I entered the railway, there were very many projects. The important project which I can recall at that time is the Ernakulam-Koyiland railway construction. I was just an assistant engineer at the time. Ernakulam-Koyiland railway construction, that was the first railway project I took up. I could not complete it because that I got promotion and moved out. In railways, you get very frequent transfers, frequent promotions. That was my first important project.
Good morning, sir. I am G. Janardhan from Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering. I want to know from you that as the two projects are long-term projects, how did you manage the political intervention from different parties and governments? Or the pressure was there?
I would say in that sense, in the sense of what I'm been telling you, if you know your job very well, and if you are very honest, nobody will start interfering in your work. They know that it's better to leave it and allow you to do the work properly. People will try to interfere, but I never tolerated any interference. In fact, that doing the things correctly and fast is in your own interest, your own advantage. I don't get anything out of it. And just imagine the case of, like I mentioned to you, Sreedharan, the Chief Minister of Delhi, because she got elected 3 times consecutively as Chief Minister, only because of Delhi Metro project. I can tell you that. So I used to tell them, please leave us to do our things properly and in the most professional way. It is to your own good, to your own advantage. That is a normal, straightforward way of doing it. Sometimes you have to do a little in a different way as well. For example, Konkan Railway, one of the very important contracts I was about to award. The railway minister called me and said, please award this contract to so and so, a particular X. I couldn't say no to him straight away, but I had the good sense to tell him that the contract has been already awarded, nothing can be done about it. Actually, it was not awarded. I ran back and immediately saw that the project was awarded to the correct person. No, that sort of thing on ingenuity is required. You have to be very diplomatic, very polite, but don't swerve on the right project at any time.
Sir, I am Captain Natarajan, Superintendent Engineer PWD retired. I am also a student of Government Victoria College, Palakkad, age 83. What is the difference in the norms provided for the maintenance of the Konkan railways and the other regular railways? Now that the Konkan is on a different norms and a different standard.
Yes. Konkan Railway, as I mentioned to you, is a modern high-speed rail, I would say, medium high-speed rail, 160 kilometers. The maintenance standards maintenance manual rules are a lot different from terrestrial railways. That is how Konkan Railway is able to manage with generally about half the maintenance cost compared to the rest of the Indian railways. There are very many new innovations. I won't be able to tell you everything straight away, but many things are in the construction itself. So we found that not much of maintenance is required. That was the first railway line where the rails were welded end to end. No joints at all. First time that was done. And there, the maintenance practice also was different. Normally now the railways you find the track is inspected by trolleys. A trolley which will be pushed by 4 trolleymen and the inspector will sit and see. Konkan Railway doesn't have it. There the inspection is done by foot. You have more supervisors to inspect. But eliminate the trolley and trolleymen. You say how much money you can save. Just eliminating these people. So there are very many new things introduced there for the Konkan Railway.
Good morning, sir. This is Keetana from CSE department. We are indebted to you for changing the face of our the public transport system, and also for championing a lot of social and environment causes. My question would be, sir, how different was it working directly under Indian Railways and working for a corporation like DMRC? And also, do you think it is possible for today's political and corporate influence on this for a corporation like DMRC to be again formed and to bring forward the construction of some other portfolios?
Yeah, the main difference is railways is a government department. So they have to follow all the government rules, procedures, everything exactly same way as any other government department. Whereas Delhi Metro or Konkan Railway are corporations. They have more flexibility in decision taking, more autonomy in decision making, more powers to raise money from the market. There's a lot of difference. That is how this Konkan Railway and Delhi Metro could be success stories. Whereas railways, even today, Indian Railways, they are having lots of problems with Indian Railways. Yes, it is possible to have the same work culture, the same type of administrative setup in other areas as well. And Konkan Railway and Delhi Metro is executing many other metro projects on their own, because the state government say hand over the metro project to Delhi Metro. They will do it much cheaper, much easier and faster. That is how the Kochi Metro is being handled by Delhi Metro. There are many other metros. New Noida, there's a metro being handled by Delhi Metro. There are 2 metro lines in Bombay directly being handled by Delhi Metro. So, organizations of that type have more flexibility, more latitude, and more freedom to take decisions.
Namaskar, sir. My name is Pranit and I'm from Mechanical Engineering Department. Sir, what is your opinion on bullet train project which is shortly going to come in India? We have already seen what happened to the Tejas Express. Is India really, ready for this thing?
See, ours is a vast country with long distances. We do ultimately need bullet trains to travel fast from one end of the country to the other. But the bullet trains are very, very expensive. Today, 1 kilometer of a bullet train costs almost 200 crores per kilometer. At this stage of our economy, I feel we can't afford it. But within about 7 or 8 years' time, we would have would have overtaken our economic problems and will be able to implement many new high-speed lines. But the high-speed line that has been now taken up from Bombay to Ahmedabad with Japanese aid, that is not the right route or right line that we should have taken up, according to me. But anyway, it has been started. It will give its own benefit to us. At least it will bring the technology to this. And there will be a lot of new fallout information that we will get out of this. On the other hand, now Delhi Metro, we have prepared a detailed project report for high-speed rail line from Trivandrum to Kannur. That is very ideal according to me. And that line is so essential for Kerala. Kerala cannot sustain without a high-speed railway line of that type, because roads cannot be widened, because the huge population in built-up areas, such a much fund is required. The advantage of a high-speed railway line of that type, the way it is being implemented, the way it is being funded, the government actually puts in only about 20-25% of the cost. The rest is coming as a loan, soft loan from other country, which this organization will be able to pay back over a time of 30-40 years. So it doesn't become a permanent liability on the nation. We should go for high-speed railway lines, no doubt about it. And this Ahmedabad line will bring us the required knowledge, expertise, and the vendor industry needed to support such a project.
Sir, my name is Rishi Mukherjee from Material Science Department. So I wanted to ask that as a leader, how do you motivate and manage your subordinates to have a common objective?
The best way to motivate your subordinates or your team is to be a model, an example to them in every aspect.
So I'm Kavya from English department. You were talking about the 10 international values and you told it's been 70 years. My question is, you were talking about the economic crisis. You told that we have a lot of people under the below poverty line. And also to point out that India is struggling from BOP crisis and we have a lot of international debts. But what do you think will be a solution to all these problems? Do you think a change in the political setup? We are also in a political crisis, by the way. So do you think that a change in political setup and also a favor of national interest among the citizens would, take India in a different track that you dream of?
What we need mostly is that the right people get elected. Our system is excellent, but our electoral system is such that even convicts, defaulters, people who have undergone prison sentence, they can all get elected today. We want people of high caliber, good character, good competence. They should get elected. That is what is required. We have to cleanse the electoral system, and that is one of the FRNB's trust area, to reform the electoral system so that people are not elected only through money power and muscle power. That is all what is required. People, good people. We don't want politicians. We want statesmen who are going to interest in the nation.
On behalf of Amrita Vidyabhidham family, I sincerely express our heartfelt thanks and gratitude